All right, guys, I am on. Hi, everyone. Good morning. I haven't been on this early in so long. I haven't been on this early in so long. Hi, Gypsy. You could go ahead and post love. Hold on. Let me turn this off over here. Disconnect that. Connect this over here. All right, we connected. Thank you. Okay, gotcha. All right, so let's see. Give me 1 second. Let me just do something real quick. Um, sorry. You know what? No, I'll do your reading first, and I'll do it afterward. All right, what are the Libra's current feelings towards Gypsy? What are his feelings towards Gypsy? What is the Libra's feelings towards Gypsy? What are the Libra's feelings towards Gypsy? So I finally got this thing, the fans thing, top fans thing. I didn't have it before. I don't know why. But I also think because I used to never go live straight from YouTube. I would go live straight from StreamYard. So I don't know. But I don't even know what the purpose of it is, to be honest. I guess it's just a fun thing for you guys. Hi everyone, welcome in. If you're in here, like the stream, donations are open. I'm currently working on Gypsy. What are the Libra's current feelings towards her? The Seven of Wands. What are his current feelings? Alright. The Tower and the Moon. Show me more. The Three of Pentacles. The Five of Pentacles. The Lovers. I feel like, so I'm getting like, I feel like he's missing you, and I feel like with the Tower and the Moon here, so the Seven of Wands for me is like that protective energy. Like, I'm gonna protect my feelings, I'm gonna protect energy, I'm gonna stand for what I believe in, and it's a card of challenges, right? I feel like the Tower and the Moon is almost like making him face his true feelings rather than hiding them, right? Because to me, the Moon is like when things start to get revealed. Yeah, you see, I feel like he's trying with the Seven of Swords. To me, it's like he's trying to hide his feelings, or he's trying to ignore what he's feeling. And like the Tower and the Moon are like, hell no, you're gonna have to face it, right? And I feel like he's having a struggle with that. I feel like he wants to talk to you. He wants to communicate with you. He wants to come to some type of conclusion. I got the Ten of Cups here, clarifying the Three of Pentacles. I feel like he could also be focusing like on some type of work project, maybe financial loss. But I also get, because we are asking for his feelings towards you, that he's missing you. He's feeling left out in the cold. He's feeling like it's like, how I could put it is like, I don't know why I'm picturing this, but you ever seen in like a movie like when people go to like a cabin when it's where it's snowing, and like he's looking at you from outside, like he's cold as fuck, it's snowing, and you're inside and you're warm and you're comfortable, and that's how he's like looking from the outside in, like he's looking at you from the window, and it just doesn't dare knock on the door is what I'm getting. Like there's a lot of insecurity showing up for him right now. Yeah, the four of swords. See how he's like just there. He's not gonna make a move just yet. But I feel like he's contemplating his next move. The lovers is here, so to me it feels like he feels like you're his soulmate. I feel like this guy, I wanna clarify, is he just not ready for commitment? Is he just not ready for commitment? Because I wanna know why he's doing this. I feel like he juggles the idea of being in a commitment with someone, or even if it's just like being more serious, like even if it's not like making things official, but even like seeing someone on a serious level. I think he goes back and forth. He may be the type of person that kind of likes their freedom. um Show me more. Show me the two kind of one. Yeah, the king of wands with the five of wands. So yeah, I feel like he may like his freedom, and I think that that's the struggle here. So I feel like he does view you as his soulmate, because that's what the lovers card is for me. Like he feels like if he were ready for a commitment, like it would be with you. Like he feels like you guys are made for each other, but I feel like he's just not ready for that. Like he's not ready for that, but I feel like spirit, or life is pushing him to like deal with his feelings, and instead of hiding them. So yeah, that's what I'm getting. Yeah, you see, there's like anticipating, like just waiting. He's like wait. I don't know if he's also the type of person. I'm beginning that a lot with people, and I don't, not saying that that's what it is, but with a lot of people, it's like he's kind of like letting it, like he may be thinking like if it's meant to be, it'll be. I'm not gonna force it, and I'm just gonna let it. Whatever happens, happens. That's how I feel he could be thinking, but he definitely views you as his soulmate. I think he's may just not be ready or capable of being more serious. And then I feel like out of respect for you and who you are, then he just chooses not to take action. So that's what I have for you, boo. You're welcome, boo. Have a good day. Wait, what just happened? Shit, where is? Oh my god. I appreciate you too, boo. Hi everyone, welcome in. What the heck? Oh my god. Zelle. Hi everyone, welcome in. Hey Jess. I was so sleepy, so I checked out, and then I was like, I want to write some letters. Girl, and you did? Good. I feel like the letters always help. I always say, like, you know what's my thing? I always feel like you might as well get it out. It doesn't, because it is a thing. See, once I at least feel once you write it, or sometimes even speak it out, you get over it. Like it's easier to like just let it be. Because sometimes you'll be like, all right, I'm holding on to something that's so stupid or something, right? But when you keep bottling it inside, it just keeps building, and it keeps building, and it keeps building, and it keeps building. Yo, that's how I felt yesterday. Remember I told you I said, like out of nowhere, I just rampage and just I'm gonna tell you something. Yo, you know what? My family won't be here later. I'm probably gonna do another one out loud. Like when I say, I mean, I'm not gonna force it if I don't have to, if I don't want to. But when I tell you that I went the fuck in, like I was literally like, and you know what? Some of it was even to myself, like, girl, get your fucking life, like, get your fucking life. You know what's enjoyable again? Like actually doing my practice, like actually doing my quote unquote routine. Yeah, that's how I felt too because I feel like the FE letter, the one I was like, oh, I don't know. I just kept pushing and then I was like, fuck it, like let me. It's true. Like um, I had I was like throwing away some notes that I had, and I was like, when I ran into some stuff, and I was like, you know what, like I don't really use all my tools all like that, like as often as I should. Yeah, I'm gonna do another one later too. I gotta do one. I mean, I haven't felt like I needed to do one, but I might do a new command letter. What I forgot is that so with the command letter and even the love letter, like you rip those up just like the FU letters, and when you do, like you ripped them out. I still had my command letters. I don't know why I still had that, but I was like, I must have not, because I usually write them together. That's how Flossie teaches it, but I didn't, right? And I still had the command letter, and you're supposed to throw it away because it's supposed to be like, once you set it, it's done, and that's that. So, but I've been waking up feeling better. I mean, I've been waking up like I could tell a difference, and I'm like, yeah, that's what I need. That's what I need. That's why yesterday I was like, yo, I just realized that it doesn't feel like I'm writing through my words anymore. So that's, I mean, not that I don't even know when, I mean, but I feel like this week was definitely the week where I was like, oh shit, it feels normal. Like, it feels normal again. Like, it's just, when I say them, it's just like matter of factly, like, this is what it is. Where it's not just, and I think I was trying to put that. I did put that, I think, in the post. Let me see. Where I was like, in the beginning, it may sound like just words, like you're just repeating words. But then eventually, like, little things come up. And that's what I think people are missing. Like, I was reading something yesterday. Like, I actually went and, like, read on this. Like, I still was, like, trying to get more on the feeling it real. And I'm like, people don't understand that. Like, I think people, when they said feel it real, it's literally like embodying it in that moment, right? Like you're saying it, but you're like assertive in a certain way, right? You don't have to be, but there comes a point where you kind of are because now it's registered in you that you repeated it so much that it becomes a part of you, right? That's what I got from it. It wasn't like, oh my god, you have to feel all these emotions while you're doing stuff. I think the only time that I have ever gotten like where I felt something is, like I said, through focus affirming, where I'll get like a visual. Sometimes you do get a sense of feeling there, right? But that's not always either. So, but I feel like when people don't explain the feel it real, they just say you got to feel it real. But when you look at feel it real, literally, when not only when Neville said it, but his teacher, like, it wasn't, oh my god, you have to feel these emotions. Like, no, in the moment, like, even because he was more of a he visualized a lot. And so for him, it was more so like, while he was still in fucking New York, cold as shit, when he would affirm, he would picture himself in the Bahamas, like on the sand. But it wasn't like he felt the sand on his feet, like literally felt it. But I'm like, people, the way some people have taught that, like, I had to, that for me, that was just like ignoring the 3D. I had to review a few things until I found someone that really explained it, because To me, it's like, yeah, just ignore the 3D. Like, but they don't explain what the fuck that means. What the fuck do you mean? We live in the 3D, so yeah, just a mess. Because there's a lot of shit that I don't feel emotions to, even like real life stuff, right? So I don't like, that's the thing with me, just I don't like to force anything. Like, to me, I like for things to be feel organic. Like, even with visuals, like I like for them to just come in when they come in, but I'm not gonna force one. Now the walkthrough meditations, I don't mind those sometimes, because sometimes you want that little visual, whatever. But I also know we don't need that. I think those are good practices to have, like even meditations, like that's a good, those are good practices to have, just more so to like, if you're like, because to me, I do get, like I said, I switch around. You could post your question, how I affirm. I don't like to do the same thing all the time. Like today, I didn't really. Well, yeah, it is still considered focus affirming, but I was moving around. Like I wasn't. I didn't lay down. Later on, I will. And then, um, what's the other thing? And I like to power affirm. I do like to power affirm because it just like builds momentum. I don't know. I just don't like to be mellow all the time. I like to, move around. But some people, they don't be caring, child. All right, let's see what's coming towards Jess. What's coming towards Jess? There's people. I remember in the group that I was in last year, there was people. There was this one lady that she wrote out her manifestations. Like she wrote out her affirmations, right? Like she would sit there for, like she said she would put like a timer of like 5 minutes for each thing, right? But let's just say she said sometimes she would do like 15 minutes for one at this time, then 15 minutes for that, and she would just write them. There's only but so much you can write in that time, right? Like let's just say even if you have three, you most likely are not gonna write them unless you write really fast, 30 of each, right? But she was still like, it was so like, to me, that's why I feel like focus affirming may implant stuff a little bit deeper or faster, I would say, because you're so focused. Remember where you, all right, so growing up in school, I remember one time me and my friend, we were talking, and we had to write I will not talk in class 500 times. And I remember I was thinking about that in the shower the other day, and I remember me writing that, and I swear I remember hearing I will not talk in class for weeks. Okay. And I don't know what made me remember that, because this was in middle school. So mind you, that's what, like, I was like 11 years old, 11, 12. Well, I was probably like 12 years old. That's like 20 something years ago. And I was like, yeah, that's why. Because, and it was like in a span of like a week and a half that we had to turn that in. So we had enough time. But I remember me, I used to always be a last minute person. So I started writing this shit like 2 days before. And I remember like being tired, like my hand was in pain from writing. So, but yeah, the lady was saying how, I remember her from the group, where she was saying that's how she could stay focused on them, because if she repeated them, even like through robotic affirming, mindless affirming, like focus affirming, like no matter what, like she would get distracted fast. Like she could only say like twice, and then she'll be distracted. So she started writing them. And as you're writing them, you're repeating them in your mind, and she was still getting her stuff. So that's why I say, like, the number, it doesn't fucking matter. It's how fast you impress your subconscious mind. And sometimes, it goes with a lot of shit, because it's like, if you have resistance to something, you got to work a little hard on it. And that's just the truth. Like, it may take a little longer. Where things that you don't have resistance to, you could just think about it once and that's it. All right, so let's see what's coming towards Jess. What's coming towards her? you got the Empress, the Five of Wands in the reverse, which is good because for me, the Five of Wands to me is like there's a compromise here. Like there's resolving a dispute. Doesn't have to be, but like this is also a card of like releasing tension, finding peace, um, avoiding conflict and finding solutions, right? So this made me think about you saying that you wrote the letters at 2 a.m. Like you took some type of action here. You're showing up as the Empress, right? And we know the Empress is, to me, the Empress, I just heard dissolving anxiety and fear. So I feel like I feel like that's literally what you just did. And not to say it because you did it, but that's literally what I just said, dissolving anxiety and fear. So you may have let go of some stuff, right? So maybe like, I don't know if you journal, just, but maybe like make it a practice. Don't force it because I don't force my journaling either, but I do try to journal at least 2 or 3 times a week. Even if it is my affirmations. Remember how I told you I just write them like almost like a story, and I add like a little flair in there because it's still telling us. Remember, when we're affirming, we're telling a story technically, right? So I feel like that can help you too, because the one thing I learned, this is a long time ago, is when you write, um so all right, and I learned this through a crime show. I know this is probably gonna go a little left, right? Well, this is my right hand, so a little left. um they would find, like, let's just say, like a good, like, I'm trying to think of like Snap, right, where the woman wrote out a check, but she signed it, but she said the husband signed it. So there is like where they would take this to these specialists, like these handwriting specialists, and literally your handwriting has like a frequency, right? And they would literally just by the like, and then when I say, when you would look at it like this, it would look identical. Like you could maybe see it, but who signs exactly the same? But they said the flow of it was so different, and I feel like that I learned that through that, right? So I say that I think sometimes too, when you're writing stuff, your frequency knows, right? No matter what. And when you're like that, like you said, you never wrote a letter like that where it was like you curse so much, right? But it's like that shows like almost demand, right? Because it's not like you're cursing in like, uh how can I say it, in where you want to harm someone. You're just getting a point across, right? So I feel like that may help you a little bit, like maybe adding that to your little like practice. Like I said, not force, but maybe like in the moments where you're quiet, like put on a subliminal that you like or something, or even your affirmations, and play them low while you're writing your affirmations. Or you're writing that like how you're feeling, and like let it go, right? But yeah, your handwriting has frequency. All of that's our bodies, because our bodies are made of like neurons and all that stuff. But yeah, they would test them, and they'll be like, no, because of I don't think they don't call it a frequency. I'm just calling it a frequency because I don't know, I can't remember what it's called, but it is something like a frequency, just like your voice has a frequency, right? So that's why I always tell people, like, record your affirmations, because your mind picks up on your voice. It recognizes your voice, right? Because it's your voice. And or if you're gonna get like a subliminal or something like that from someone else, like in the you are, do it from someone that your brain or your subconscious mind, even your conscious mind, is familiar with. Yeah, yeah. I forgot about that. I just remember now for some reason. Spirit is always gonna give us what? It's gonna give is always gonna give me like something. That's why I was like the other day, I was like, I think it was yesterday when I was in the shower, and I thought about that time I had to write I will not talk in class 500 times. So yeah, I feel like you're finding solutions to continue to get rid of like anxiety and fear. So I know we learn a lot of times just affirm over it, but sometimes you have to just, like, I think I told y'all this the other night. If it's just a passing thought, like something, whatever, then it is what it is. But if you notice that something keeps coming up, just address it and get rid of it. Like whatever story you want to tell it, if you want to say that never happened, you want to give it whatever it is, but keep it consistent. But if it's just a passing thought, then it is what it is, unless it becomes frequent. The Three of Pentacles is here. What's coming towards her? Yeah, I gotta look up the meaning for the handwriting thing. I know it's there's a specific word for it. Okay, so I feel like what's coming towards you. Okay, so in this first row, I feel like it's you. You're growing, you're learning more stuff. Like I said, you're adding other things to your, like, to me, the Three of Pentacles is like when you're building something, you could be collaborating with someone, right? But I'm also getting like you being focused and being more disciplined, because the Queen of Swords, she's very disciplined, right? I feel like sometimes we get in this, like in the community, right? We'll start to, like, sometimes, you know how I say, like, sometimes you don't even notice the stories you're saying in the back of your mind, and you don't notice them until you come out of that comfort zone, right? And I feel like that's like how I could put it for you, like you're getting out of your comfort zone, so you're, as you're going, you're doing different things, because you're expanding, is what I would say, your tools. You're expanding your tools, like you're like, okay, I could affirm all day, right? Because they say it all the time. Like, even when I was with Nikki and Flossie, like they would say, you can definitely affirm all day if you want to, but eventually there's gonna come a point where you may get burnt out. And it's not to be limiting, but you want to make sure that you're having some type of balance there, right? And not always being in your head. So I feel like you're also, you could be setting like clear boundaries with yourself. To me, the Queen of Swords is like open communication. So I always tell you, like, I always tell you guys, once you're really honest with yourself, then things get easier. Um, because I think that's a lot of times we try to brush like uncertainty or fears, or like, how can I say, what's the other word I'm looking for? Like anxieties, fears, doubts, right? Or just even like some beliefs that we have, or because we like, I don't just don't want to address it, whatever. But the sooner you address it, the sooner you get rid of it. So like even with the letters, right? We, like I said, I remember in the group, a lot of people didn't want to do them because they felt like, oh my God, that's just gonna put, that's just me staying in that the old story, but you're letting it go. So as long as you get back to like you're affirming, doing a F you letter here and there, it's not gonna kill you, because either way you're thinking about dumb shit anyways. So I feel like, yeah, that like being clear with yourself, communicating with yourself, because only you know what's going on inside of you, right? um Show me more. Hi John, how are you? All right, we got the Knight of Pentacles, the World, the Ten of Wands, and the Page of Cups. So I feel like there could be some communication coming in. To me, the Knight of Pentacles is like that slow energy, right? But like consistent energy that's coming in. The World card with the Ten of Wands, to me, the slow energy is like slowing, not slowing down. The slow energy is coming to a completion. And then you have the Page of Cups. So to me, that feels like a message, like a love message is coming in, for a fresh new beginning. Show me the Page of Cups. I just want to see something. Show me the Page of Cups, Spirit. The King of Swords. You guys came out as the pair yesterday. The King and Queen of Swords, and you're coming out like that again. So I feel like there, for me, is coming in like you guys being, no matter what, you guys are still on the same page, right? So it's like, I see like clear communication coming in, like him being honest and open, bringing clarity. And he's coming in like more in his power. He's becoming like, he's getting more in his power. But I always, you know, we always say, like I always say, they're a part of you. So the more you're in your power, the more they are in their power. As long as you believe in that, obviously. You got the Two of Cups. What's coming towards her? The Judgment. The Star. And the Temperance. So I do feel like, yeah, I can't say when, you know, we don't do the whens here, but I do feel like you guys are gonna come together, because you have the Two of Cups, the Judgment. So I feel like you and him are like transitioning at the same time. Remember, I think I said I don't know if it was yesterday or one of these days where I said, you guys are literally mirroring each other. He's mirroring like what you're doing. And we have the Two of Cups here, which is like exactly what that is, right? Like you're kind of exchanging energy. I feel like the bond is growing in the 40, if you want to call it that. And with the Judgment, to me, it feels like we're both entering a phase together. Like we're both entering in awareness together because it's a card of awareness. Um, and I feel like reflect after some reflection, he's gonna just follow his inner calling. And the Star is a wish fulfillment card, is a card of hope. So to me, it does feel, yeah, it comes out a lot. That's a some people call it the twin flame. I call it a soulmate card too. But you know me, I don't really get into all that twin flame stuff. I like soulmate, but I don't get into all that. To me, the twin flame stuff and karmic stuff, that's just like limiting stuff. But so you know why I don't get into it. But with the Star, I do feel like he's gonna find some type of inspiration to come towards you. You know, the Temperance is a card of patience, but it is also a card of finding solutions. So I feel like coming towards you, like he's gonna find, like as you're finding solutions to like let go of things, right, and being honest with like yourself, right. I would just say like usually when something is not coming in, there's some type of resistance, right? So just try to find what that is, because 9 times out of 10 it's just something with you, right? It's not your person, it's something with you. So I would just say like try to figure that out, whether it's a story you've been seeing, whether it's like too much checking, or it's like um I'm trying to think of something else that could be causing resistance or delays. I would call it delay. Yeah, it's usually either a story, like the old, not letting go of the old story, checking the 3D too much, and because you know, or contradicting, like them contradicting, so like those inner conversations, like your mental diet, basically. So I would definitely say like, you know, if you want to do that, like you might as well address it now so you can clear the path. Because like I said, you can affirm over everything, but if something's taking longer than you're wanting, just try to figure out what it is so that you can just go ahead and be like, fuck it, like let me just get rid of that now and just keep focusing. Or there was something I wrote yesterday. Let me see if I find it. I don't know if I'm gonna find it. If I find it, I'll send it to you later. Where it was like, there's like a, damn, what was it? I think I know I saved it. I mean I didn't even save it. I thought of it and I wrote it. But let me see if I wrote it on my in my iPad. If it's in my phone, I'll send it to you later. No, I don't think I saved it on here. But if when I do, I'll send it to you. Where it was saying like something like fuck, I can't think of it right now. But basically, like you're letting go of that, like anything that's like holding your manifestation back, because there has to be some type of resistance there. I gotta see if I let me see if I yeah, I gotta when I find it, just I know it's in my I know I put it, if I didn't put it in my iPad, that means I wrote it in my phone. But I'll send it to you. It's an affirmation, but it's more so like fuck, I can't think of it. I just can't even I can't say the words because I can't think of them. where I was like, oh, that makes me feel good because, like I said, we say stories that then don't benefit us. So yeah, I'll send it to you. And it's not something you have to sit there and affirm all day, every day. You get what I'm saying? Like, it's just something you're going to tell yourself, remind yourself that this is what it is. And basically, no, it was something like, um, I dissolve any lies or any stories. Some, I forget, just. I'm trying, but I can't think of it. I don't know why and it's so simple what it was. And I was like, oh my God. I just like randomly thought about it because, remember how I was telling you, like, I've been telling myself these stupid little stories that you don't even realize. And, everything, those little stories be the ones that be causing blockages and shit. I mean, well, we don't believe in blockages, but, resistance. Um, yeah, I'm not even hungry. Oh, there was something too that came to me when I was rampaging, um, which is don't let your world revolve. Wait, don't let your world revolve around your desire. Let your desire revolve around you, right? And that's the thing that's the whole thinking about a desire 24/7, right? Like to focus on a desire 24/7, it kind of puts desperation out there, right? And no matter how we want to think about it, it's still your mind too. Like they'll tell you to like. So what I learned with law of assumption, because law of attraction, law of assumption, there's a thin line between them, right? Law of attraction tells you detach from your, hey IJ, detach from your desire, because they're more like just put it out into the universe and it'll come to you, right? Where law of assumption is like, the more you persist on this ending, you're changing your thoughts, you're changing your beliefs, whatever, right? It's more of a, to me, it's like, it's just a mind thing, right? That's what law of assumption is. You're just changing your thoughts. You don't have to do anything physically. You're just changing your thoughts. But I feel like when, like I said, law of attraction, when they say detach from your desire, is like just give it to the universe, don't ever think about it again, right? That's how they look at it. Where with law of assumption is, well, the way that detachment is used in law of assumption, which again a lot of people don't explain it, is if you affirm this morning, right? Like let's just say, like me, I do my 10 or 15 minute, per category, right? Until the next time that I do it, I shouldn't be like only focused on those desires, right? I should be able to be doing other shit. Like now, if the desire comes up, then I can affirm in the moment, or being mindful of my thoughts that I'm not thinking against them. But you should be able to live your life in between, and then go back to affirming, and then at nighttime. That's how I learn. Like it's not detaching where you just be like, I'm gonna give it to the universe. I'm never gonna revisit it again until it comes. No, you do your routines, however you want to call it. I mean, I call it a routine because it is what it is, right? And in between time, I like to live my life, and that's where I know I'm in a better space, like internally, because that's how it's been lately. I've been right back to where I normally be at with this stuff, because that just shows. The thing is if you're focused on it, to me, 24/7, you are trying to create something that you do not feel is yours yet. And you should be enjoying life, because life goes by fast. Like You don't want to miss out on things. Like, I still go out and do stuff, and if I do want to play my affirmations in my ear, if I feel like it, cool. And if I don't, because that's not taking anything away from me paying attention to where I'm at, because I've done it plenty of times, because I'm still interacting with the people in front of me, and sometimes I don't want to. And when I know I'm burnt out, that's why I say, like, you guys know your bodies, you know who you are. IJ, you could post your question, by the way. You know who you are, right? You know if you're feeling burnt out. You just have to be honest with yourself. Like, I'm exhausted. I don't feel like doing another, whatever. That's when I say make sure you have your blanket affirmations, because you're just reassuring to yourself, like, everything is fine. Like, I've done enough today. That's why, all, like, if you know, like, and this is what I remember, even when I first found Sammy, and the one thing they said, like, try to manifest other stuff. Like, there's other stuff, unless you really have, but there's always something else, right? So, like, even if it is just for fun, like, if you feel like you have everything you want, right, except for, like, let's just say SP, right? That's the most common one. Why not try to manifest money out of thin air? Like, who doesn't want free money? Right? Or if your money is right, but you know you're struggling with, like, your confidence, then why not manifest your confidence? That's, to me, I'm gonna be honest, building self-concept and all that stuff, that's the fucking easiest. Like, that to me is the easiest, because remember, the more you, repetition creates embodiment. So, like, the more you're telling yourself, even you, that, to me, I feel like when it comes to self-concept, it's not always necessarily like, yeah, obviously it's impressing the subconscious, but I do feel like that's the one thing that I can say that I can embody quickly. And maybe it is because I've had a, pretty good self-concept around certain things, right? But I feel like even with, like, my core beliefs, when I started doing those affirmations, like, I started to feel a little bit like some emotional stuff, but I literally, like, when I was, like, doing my repetitions for those, I didn't feel like out of place. So yeah, work on other shit. Like, if you're too focused on one desire, it becomes obsessive. And like I said, you just gotta be honest with yourself. Because at the end of the day, it's you. Only you know your body. Only you know your feelings, and you should be able to tell yourself, like, all right, bro, all right, sis, like, I'm being a bit obsessive. They say be more persistent, less obsessive. Hi, Shay, how are you? All right, so let's see, IJ. Yeah, donations are open, guys. I'm working on IJ right now. So let's see for IJ. I just got shown some things this morning related to her that reinforces and makes me believe my thoughts superpowers even more. How will this affect me going forward? Let's see for IJ. How will this affect him going forward? Please, guys, like the stream. How will this affect? Wait, so I know IJ said when he robotic affirms, he gets, like, fleeting visions, right? Visuals. You too, right? It's like fleeting. It's not like a, yeah, fleeting. I think that's what you meant. That's what you said yesterday. But I wanted to make sure, because I want to add that to a video that I'm doing about different ways to affirm. Ooh, chocolate or strawberry? I love chocolate, but I don't mind strawberry. You know what I used to do? I used to mix chocolate and strawberry ice cream and just let it melt a little. So it's like a fleeting thing. Okay. That's what I wanted to make sure. Because then that's a common. Because one of my girls told me too. She said it's like more of a fleeting thing, not an actual, like, 10-second visual. It's like something really, like, could be like 1 second and it's gone. Which that makes sense, because if you're, like, robotic affirming, you're just, there's no energy, like, there's really no, I don't want to say no intention, because you're still putting an intention when you're doing that. But what robotic affirming, like I said, is like, um I'm healthy, wealthy. I'm healthy and 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 wealthy. Like you're not really thinking. You're just like is repetition. Where when you're like focused affirming, you kind of just you in a sense you. I mean that's all thinking, but you get what I'm saying. It's more like even when I do power affirming, I'm more in like high pitch and I'm just like boom 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 boom. It's not robotic affirming because you're putting like actual energy into it to be like to get it done. Not really get it done, but I like to play games. So I like to play games with when it comes to affirming sometimes. I like to play games. So like if I did like 100 of one affirmation this morning, then if I power affirm a specific affirmation, which is usually my power affirmations, then like later on I'll be like, fuck it, I'm gonna do 150 in those 10 minutes. Like I'll play games like that with myself. Just it keeps me entertained. You're still impressing the subconscious. All right, how will this affect IJ? The King of Cups is here. Oh my, I just looked at the fan thing. Who is the small weenie person? What's ew. So does this show people who are watching because that person didn't comment on here? Wait, so does this show who be on here watching? Oh, it's on now. Because that person that didn't comment on here, Just did you see them comment on here? The Nine of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, the Hangman. Okay. Um so I feel all right, because the King of Cups is here, so this is you, right? And we know the King of Cups is all about the emotions, right? The emotional stability, emotional intelligence, right? Very, like a lot of kindness, a lot of I think the King of Cups, the way they're putting it is like could at times be a little passive, right? Not saying that you're passive. I'm just gonna say how spirit is bringing it through. And with the Nine of Swords, the Four of Pentacles, and the Hangman, I feel like you're gonna start when it comes to maybe like self-concept, right? So I believe you're working on self-concept. This is where it's going. You're gonna see a big effect. Um, you're gonna see a big effect in your self-concept, like being more, I want to say secure, or being more like powerful, feeling more assertive, feeling more, how can I say it, like what's the word I'm looking for, being more assertive, being more in your power, like being more like knowing, you know what this is like, know your confidence, like a boost in confidence, right? So where like before you may have not had like and I'm not saying that this is the, like I'm just giving you an example, IJ, how this is coming out. So like if you before you had like an uncertainty in like certain areas, right? Like maybe if you felt like, well, I have to do this before I can get this, and it's like you're change, that whole concept is changing. So definitely, because to me the Hangman is like is enlightenment. So you're receiving enlightenment, and how I can put it in like how with like you seeing things, you're just kind of again feeling more in your power of who you are. But that comes with everyone. So like you're also understanding that you don't have to always give to receive, right? And maybe that's something that you have been doing in the past, or like you have been doing, where you're kind of like you're constantly giving but you're not receiving enough, so you're taking almost like a backseat to that. And I feel like this is not going to be something that's forced. It's going to naturally happen. I always tell everyone this, that coaches with me, I tell you guys this all the time, I don't know. I can't tell y'all that I even paid attention to shifts until I'm already in that energy. So I won't notice shifts that are happening as they're happening. I'll just notice because I'll be like, oh shit, like I always like look back on like my month too, because every month I set goals for myself, whether it's like for my physical, like, you know, physical, like working out my physical health, or even like, how much I kept up with my goals, or like even with this stuff, right? I always keep track of this stuff, and I do it on a month to month basis, sometimes weekly, right? I like to go back on Sundays, and you know that's the start of my week. So I like to go back on Sundays and like just see like what are my goals for this week. So I do stuff like that. So I can't say that I necessarily notice like internal shifts or anything like that, right? I've told you guys this. So this is gonna, to me, it's not forced. So like these shifts that you're gonna have, you're not gonna may not notice them because they're just gonna happen. So you may see yourself like not being as giving, like of, and your and meaning your energy or even your time to, and not just like family, friends, maybe even not, right? Like you're gonna, and I'm not saying take a back seat in the sense that you're not gonna put no effort, but you're also gonna be like, okay, like I already reached out, I'm not gonna reach out until she reaches out again, or I'm not gonna check up unless I'm give receiving it back. And like I said, that's going to be a natural shift that happens. You're not gonna notice it until way after. And I feel like maybe that's something that you need to kind of like shift the scale, because I always say this, no matter what, whether it's in law of assumption, like when we're thinking about conscious manifesting, or we're thinking about like, you know, 3D world, right? If there's no balance, at some point there's going to be a burnout. So if you are finding yourself giving too much and not receiving much, at some point there's going to be a pipe that starts feeling draining. So, um, but I feel like the more you work on your self concept of like you are the prize too, and you know that people cater to you, you're gonna be able to balance that. And like I said, it may happen naturally. Maybe this is something that's needed to happen. But in the physical world, I know we think too. When we thinking logically, we don't. Sometimes it's hard to pull back on something that we want. But when you're in law of assumption, like you don't think logical. You just know things are gonna work out. Um, so I hope that makes sense. All right, let's see. So I would say definitely like keep working on your self concept, and don't think too much, don't think about how people are going to react to it, because it doesn't matter, because you're the center of the attention in your reality. So people have to conform to who you are, not to who you want them to be. They'll conform to who you are. So just keep that in mind, and that goes for everybody. For everybody in your life. The Nine of Cups in the reverse. The King of Swords. What the heck is this? It's been a while since what? I mean, I wasn't talking about the reading. I'm talking about a text I got. The King of Swords, the Eight of Wands in the reverse. The Four of Wands. So I feel like you're gonna start noticing. You see, I'm getting shifts in your self concept. That's where I'm seeing stuff. Um, yeah, I'm getting more so like mental clarity. To me, that feels like self-concept. That is going to be where you're going to see an effect and change is your self-concept. To me, again, the Eight of Wands is a communication card. What you're putting out, you're being more assertive with yourself. And I feel like you're going to be in this energy where I feel like there's going to be a little bit of a back and forth energy. So this could be like your old self, your new self coming in, right? And again, we have a logical person here and an emotional person here. Manifestation is not logical. So it's like you may have to let go of the logic that you're probably using right now. They're saying, because I feel like that's what they're calling out. You're using too much logic with certain things where there's no such thing as logic in manifestation. It's like there's no coincidence in manifestation, right? You can't believe in manifestation and coincidences. And I feel like there's going to be a back and forth with you. I feel like you're going to have a hard time letting go of certain habits that you have, and the habits are of pouring out too much to people. So that's what I'm getting, because I feel like, just remember, because the Four of Wands for me is like that marriage, the happy ending, the happy home that you're wanting. It doesn't matter, you're still gonna get it whether you're pouring out in the 3D or not. Doesn't matter what you're doing in the 3D, right? But I do feel like there has to be a balance here, because it feels like you're doing too much in the 3D. Yeah, there's a battle, because I feel like you're having a hard time of letting go of certain habits. But just remember, when you're trying to call something new in, you have to also be that new version as well, right? So we know that we can't call in millions. Well, I never wanted to call in millions, but let's just say, well, you can't call in millions, but then over here, you're like, in your day to day, you're thinking about how broke you are. Like, you can't have both, right? You can't do both. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's what I'm trying to get to. You can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. You got to be all in, all either on one side or the other. Show me more. Just know that no matter what, you're gonna get with your manifestation. Like, that's why I say, like, those blanket affirmations are important to use in your day-to-day practice. Like, even if you're just saying that to yourself, you don't have to sit there and affirm those, for 10 minutes on repetition, but just kindly remind yourself every day, no matter what is working out for me, right? But there has to be a balance. Yeah. The Page of Wands. The King of Wands. The Death card. The Two of Swords. Yeah, see, like, you're evolving. You're evolving no matter what. So I do feel like the sooner you just, we know it takes practice. We know. So I'm not going to say, like, you need to just let go right now. No. But just be aware of that, like, aware of yourself. Like I was telling Jessica, you know yourself, right? I can only give you but so much information. Like, you have to know yourself. I always go back and look at myself. I'm like, how was my day? You know, I check my mental diet. Was it I do a scale from 1 to 10. And I'm honest with myself, because at the end of the day, if you're not honest with yourself, then you're just bullshitting yourself, right? And the only person that you have to be honest with is your damn self, right? So I would definitely say that I do feel like the sooner you accept certain, don't be afraid. All right, so this is how I can put it to you. A lot of people will be afraid to evolve because they think they'll either lose interest of their person, or their person won't meet them there. But that's your assumption, right? But if you assume that the more I evolve, the more she evolves, the better our union is, then that's what it is. It's all on what you assume. So I do feel that at some point there will be a transformation for you. But again, in the current energy, I still feel like there's going to be back and forth, because You got the two of wands, the two of swords here. So making some difficult decisions right now is what I'm getting. Like how it's gonna affect you. I feel like it's mostly your self concept, who you are, how you're seeing yourself, and there is an energy of wanting to explore. You have your vision, but I think that you kind of may feel a little stuck on what that like, and I don't feel like it's stuck on what that vision is. You're clear on that because that's the King of Wands knows what he wants, right? But you may be a little hesitant to make changes for yourself because there could be like that energy of like I'm afraid, the fear of like if I continue to grow I'm leaving something behind, but you're not. If you know that your person is a part of you, then and you're assertive of that, you growing should only motivate your person to grow. So that's what I'm getting. There could be a bit of a crossroads coming up. It is about self-concept. It is, I feel like with your connection with her is tied into that, but also like other people. So that's what I'm getting. So that's what I have for you, IJ. I feel like you're gonna have changes in your keep working on your subconcept and get clear. Like, that's something too that for me, like I think last year I should have worked on different things. I'm not gonna like whatever. Like it is what it is. But I feel like I should have like addressed some things. I just used my old self concept stuff, but I didn't realize that I actually had outgrown those things. That there was other stuff that I wanted to that I should have worked on. So this year, that's when I got more clear. So just if you have to go and like get clear on those things, like do that. If you feel like you're already there, just keep doing what you're doing. You're welcome. Just said. See, that's another thing. You know that like what was it? I was who the heck was I or was I watching something? Well, I'm still on the Facebook group. My old I'm still on there, and I think some girl said that no matter what, like she'll be like, if she's brushing her hair, when she brushes her teeth, like when she showers, she's like, yeah, every time I brush my teeth, like I just get all this money in the bank. Like money just shows up, like like the placebo effect. Nah, he be blowing up your phone when you take a shit. Yeah, it was on there because you know what? I remember the comments were funny because somebody said, because she was like, because hello, like, I brush my teeth at least 2-3 times a day, and I'm sure everybody brushes their teeth every day. And then people were saying like, some people really don't brush their teeth every day. We was fucking dying on there. This was a few days ago. I meant to share that with you guys. I never use placebos like that, but like I'll say like, well, you know what, with my hair, I always say like, whenever I brush my hair just gets longer and fuller. Yeah, when my blink, my ass gets fatter. Yeah, people be nasty. Yo, it's crazy. The placebo effect is real. Like, in the law of assumption, we just say repetition of thought, right? But there's a lot of shit that you guys could be using to your benefit, right? Especially like I said, like there's gonna be things that I remember watching the placebo effect video years ago, and I want to say it was probably, it had to be Sammy, because she's like the first law of assumption coach I've ever watched, and it was that long ago, like, and yo, there was some crazy shit on there, and it's like some people were saying like how they never even knew that they were saying doing that when they were young, because it's like when they were younger. Like I think the one girl said, whenever I put chapstick on, my lips get fuller. And when you see pictures of her when she was young and then like in high school, like she didn't go get her lips done. And I mean, this was when she was in high school, like 15 years ago. There's a big ass difference. All right, Brianna, let me know if you're here. Yeah, manifestation is always working. Guys, please like the stream if you're in here. Okay, I got you right now. All right, so let's see. I made a post of little shit for you guys to manifest, to like stay in your power, because you're manifesting all the time anyways. I like to manifest all types of stuff, big stuff, little stuff. It don't matter. Let me see. Would it be more effective if I made my own void state subliminal instead? Let's see. This for Brianna. So I'm gonna answer your question, but I can't tell you if the other subliminal is working better, or if it's working well. I could just tell you if it'll be like you put on here. Would it be more effective? Um, I'm gonna tell you right now. I'm gonna answer your question in tarot, but I'm gonna tell you it is gonna be more effective because it's your own self. Well, is it in your own voice? Would it be more effective if Brianna made her own void state subliminal instead? The Eight of Wands. The Page of Wands. Yeah, the Knight of Wands. You're getting all yeses. And I feel like you may see faster movement in whatever it is that you're trying to create with this. You're gonna see faster movement. Like you're gonna see much more faster. Like it's literally going from like a page to a knight, and it's not even like having a transition period, right? Because it's like the page of wands, the two of wands, the three of wands, the four, like it's going from a page of wands to a knight of wands. So I do feel like there's like, it's gonna kind of like, with manifestation, it's just, there's a bridge, right? So it's like you're skipping the bridge, like the, what is it called, bridge of events, like things like kind of forming so that you can get this, like then the manifestation comes. So what they're like, I'm getting is like you're gonna skip a lot of that has to happen. So yeah. Oh, you use AI voices? Yeah, if I'm gonna make my own, I would do it in my own voice. So, but I also would say, if do you know what affirmations are being used in the other subliminal? The only reason why I don't, unless somebody custom made it for me, the only reason why I don't use like, and this is my personal opinion, um, I don't use like YouTube subliminals. I always look and see what affirmations they have, and I'm gonna tell you, like 95% of the time, a lot of the affirmations are not even what I'm working on, and some of the affirmations are actually um not even spoken in present tense. Like I remember seeing one where it was like a SP one, and there was affirmations there like your person is coming back and all this stuff, and it's like we affirm for the end goal, not the middle, and that's the middle, because you can't say you're with your person and then they're coming back. So that's my only thing with like that. If you know the affirmations are like exactly what you're looking for, then yeah, then you should be fine. Because either way, you're subliminals, is going right into your subconscious mind. They just say, like, at least from my research and my own personal opinion, it's better to do it with a familiar voice, yours or someone that you trust. um because I have some subliminals from my old coaches and subs, because sometimes I don't want to hear my own, like I want, for me, the actually subliminals and rampages, I have two rampages from one of my old coaches, and she, like, is, I use them for motivation, like to hype me up. So what happens is too with those, like the you are, it's like another voice outside. It's almost like it's like if you're talking to your best friend, and your best friend's like, girl, you're that bitch, like you're the shit, like you are, all of this, right? So that's how I look at them. No matter what, everything is working as long as you feel it is, unless as long as you assume it is. But I have my personal preferences when it comes to that stuff. All right, Shay, you could go ahead and post. Where is my... Why you don't record your own voice, Bree, especially on the sub? You're welcome. I will also say, like, with law of assumption, be careful with who y'all watching. I'm not saying it because I am teaching this, but all this, like, states, like void states, or like, what's the other one? Like, the embodying state is all the same stuff, y'all. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter, because the more you affirm, eventually you'll start embodying, right? And I feel like a lot of times when they start putting all this stuff out, I'm trying to think of another one that I used to be like, that's this, like your God state. That's your God state, is you claiming you're the the God of your reality. And I feel like a lot of times people just make up little things to sound different, but it's law of assumption. If you look it up, if you even when you look up old coaches that were kind of like law of attraction, but they were more so like what you know like they talk about frequency, right? Because that's what law of attraction is. But they'll also say like repetition, like how you talk to yourself, how you know um like your words manifest. So it's no matter what these other little things are, I think that they just sound cool, but you don't need them. Like you don't need to force us. To me, when you're trying to force a state, it can cause a lot of resistance because you're forcing something that you don't necessarily feel yet. Whereas though when you're affirming, to me, you're always thinking thoughts anyways. We think thoughts all day. We have inner conversations all day. We have inner dialogue all day. So to me, it's just catching those thoughts as they're coming in, but then having your routines of like, your affirmations. And affirmations should sound like a story, not like a um how do I say it? Not like a what was it should sound like a story or a statement. I mean, however you want to do it. I like to tell a story. Um, but yeah, I feel like a lot of law of assumption coaches, they started to complicate too much shit. Like, oh, you got to regulate your nervous system. And honestly, I don't, I mean, I do stuff to calm my like to calm my anxiety if it's like that or whatever. But I don't believe that you have to do anything to manifest as long as you're keeping your repetition of thought, except for like, mental diet and stuff like that. But all the other stuff is just to keep your human body. That's what I call it. I keep my human body. I do stuff for my human body to feel good, because when my human body feels good, I feel like I can focus more. But have I manifest stuff through anxiety and stuff like that? Of course, we're manifesting all day, every day. Right, but that's what it is with law of assumption. You're consciously manifesting when you're that's what we're doing. Like that's what law of assumption is. You're consciously manifesting. So we're not necessarily focused on our 3D and stuff like that. That's what I'm saying. It's all the same thing. I've studied all of it. It's all the same thing. Trust me. As long as your repetition of thought, and again you're affirming or you're scripting or you're visualizing, and is you're keeping that repetition of thought, it does, like, your voice state is all the same thing. That's what law of assumption is. Conscious manifesting. We're not manifesting from our human body, so we're more conscious of like seeing things that normally we wouldn't see as a coincidence. Like where we would see things as a coincidence, no longer a coincidence. Where if we think of something that shows up, we know that that's a manifestation. So that's what I'm saying. Like all of that stuff is the same thing. Because in law of assumption, is repetition of thought, and that goes directly to your subconscious mind. It bypasses the conscious mind. I mean, at first is like I said, it takes practice, but again, that stuff, you start to embody those states at the more repetition you create. They just started giving different names, like the God state and all that stuff. But when you're claimed, this is what I'm trying to say. If right now I'm affirming that I'm rich as fuck, then I'm in that state, right? I'm in the state that I'm rich as fuck. If I start saying I'm poor or like I'm broke as fuck, then now I'm in the state of I'm broke as fuck. If I start claiming that I'm the God of my reality and I create everything, I'm in that state, right? When I get out of it and I'm like pointing the finger at like whoever, then I'm in that state. So we're constantly changing states. That's what I'm saying. Like I feel like they started creating these little states to sound different, but it's all the same thing. You're constantly going in and out of states throughout the whole day. Like right now, if I started crying, I'm in that state of sadness. I'm in the state of crying. But if later on I'm laughing and I'm having a good time, then I'm in that state of laughing and having a good time. So you're constantly coming in and out of states. But I feel like when they're teaching some of this stuff, it's like you're forcing something when it should just naturally happen. So yeah, that's what I feel. That's just that I don't teach those type of states because eventually you're gonna embody them. When you're trying to force something, it does create resistance. We're conscious manifestors in law of assumption. That's literally what it is. We're consciously manifesting where before weren't consciously awakened. So when you start practicing certain things, you start noticing certain things. Like, how can I? All right, so like, if I decide I want to see a rainbow car, I might see them a bunch of times, and I might never not notice them. Where before I wouldn't have never noticed them. All right, so let's see, Richard. I had a dream about David the Cap, and I don't know what it is. It was trying to tell me. I was following him, and he was going to the store and went to someone's house, and I was following him until I lost him. I'm like, why am I following him? Like, what is this dream trying to tell me? All right, let's see. Why? What is this? What is that? Oh my God. Trust me, y'all, I practice a lot of shit. Just could tell y'all. The past few months, I practiced a lot of shit, and I'm gonna tell you something. It always brought me back to affirming. I can't say that anything ever stuck to me because I felt like it was all the same thing. Like, even like those people that say, you just gotta decide, right? Like, you have those people that say, like, you just gotta decide. But then when you watch them, they'll be like, yeah, well, I do affirm every once in a while. Like, I'll affirm throughout. But this is what they say. Yeah, I still do my affirmations, but I affirm in a way where it's like, I don't, how is it? What is it? Like, I'm affirming because I know it's mine, but not because I'm trying to create something. You're still doing affirmations, and it's still repetition of thought, which is what fucking manifests. That's why I'm like, I studied a lot of people for like 3 months. And those were the main ones that I'm like, how are you gonna sit here and tell people like you just gotta decide? But then it's like, yeah, I still do rampages and I still affirm, and but I just think of it as it's the same shit. All right, let's see, what was this trying to tell her? The Three of Wands. The Ace of Wands. So right away, I'm getting the Three of Wands for me is when you're waiting. You're waiting for something to come in. And I feel like that's what it's like. I feel like, so for me, dreams, when it comes to like, especially when you're consciously awakened, which I know that you are, dreams are sometimes showing you what's being impressed in your subconscious mind, right? Even if it is the opposite, even if it kind of tells you where you're at, right? Yeah, and it's like I feel like there's a sense of like you're waiting, and I feel like you may be going back and forth, and this is maybe something you haven't noticed. It could just be subconsciously, right? Because our subconscious mind really is what stores stuff, right? And so maybe consciously you're not seeing this. Yeah, look, it's because of the waiting. So it's like you're waiting for something to happen, right? And in a sense, you start to feel, you could be having a thought, like I said, somewhere in your subconscious where you're like, if he doesn't reach out by a certain time, I'm gonna do it. Now, it doesn't have to be exactly like that, but you're kind of like holding on to waiting, and that's too much. And in conscious manifesting, you don't wait because you already claimed what it is. So you may be going back and forth with that internally. Like, you just got to be honest with yourself, like I've been saying today. I feel like that's the topic. Yeah, like you're watching and waiting. The energy feels like I'm waiting. I'm looking over my shoulder, I'm waiting. So the Two of Cups, let me get more. The Ace of Pentacles, the Ace of Swords. You have a lot of aces here. And for me, I don't know if you've gone back and forth, yeah, like with whether you want this manifestation or not. I think that's something else that I feel like a lot of times can cause a little resistance when you're not clear on why you want this, or if you really do want it. If it's your ego, if it's your, like, being truthful with yourself. That's where I could put it. Like, being truthful with, when you're truthful with, like, if you're gonna do it based off of ego, then admit it. Be like, I'm doing it just based off ego. If you're doing it because this is something you really want, then admit that to yourself. Like, there is a connection here. I want this connection because I'm getting clarity, needing clarity. Like, there needs to be I feel like once you get clear, Shay, like, you're gonna have a breakthrough. So I think you need to be more, like, clear with yourself. I feel like the dream was kind of like, it feels like chaser, runner chaser energy, right? And now I don't know if in the past you've had situations like that, where, like, there was runners, right? Because I always say, like, it's not the people that are doing something, it's they're reflecting something internally, right? And when you're consciously awake, that's something that you learn. You're the creator of everything. So you may not have been telling a story about him, but there's a story that you're saying within you that is still living there, right? And what happens is, when it starts to show up and is in our awareness, we either have to address it as the old story that's no longer me, or the more you focus on it, the more it's going to show up, right? So I feel like there's a little bit of a conflict here, a mental conflict of what it is. You said, I'm not really going back and forth with myself. I'm mostly angry. That's the back and forth. Yeah, so you see, like, I feel like, right, I didn't say it if you're right. I'm just giving you examples, Shay, right? So it's either if you want it or not, and then you also have to say, why do you want it, right? And be honest with yourself. That's what I'm saying. Be honest, right? But then there's also the thing, if you're angry, then you're holding on to the old story. And when you're holding on to the old story, how can you bring the new story in? You get what I'm saying? That's the main thing when it comes to manifestation. That's the hardest thing for all of us, especially when you've had an experience with someone. The hardest part is letting go of the old story. But guess what? Until you let go of the old story, that new story doesn't come in. Or it can take time. So it's like you have to it feels like 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And that's what runner chaser to me is. Like, you're either all in or you're not. And when you're still holding on to the old story, if you're still angry, that means you're holding on to the old story, right? So I feel like there's a need to let go of the old story, because it almost feels like when you're chasing someone is because you're, see, there's contemplation here. When you're like, when someone is chasing something, right, it's because they don't have it, right? So that's the thing. Like when you're still claiming the old story, like, you're still angry, right? Again, you're angry because you're still holding on to the old story, the old resentments, the old whatever. So you're revisiting the past, but the past no longer exists. The past is the past for a reason, right? We don't live in the past. We live in the current moment. So the more you let go of that old story, the easier it does feel. The more you start to, like, you're gonna have to control your own mental diet. Is everything, right? You're gonna have to control your mental diet. Like, when those, at the end of the, like I tell everyone, only you know you. you could watch a million videos, you can talk to a million coaches, until you practice what you're learning or what you're receiving, everybody's going to tell you the same thing: let go of the old story. So I feel like that's like you're holding on to that old story of that girl, and that's what's causing like cloudiness, right? Like I said, like you following him is literally like runner chaser. So there's a need to disconnect from your old story. Get, like I said, there, you can't be 1 foot in, 1 foot out. And just go, like, to me the Four of Cups is more about reevaluating something, like taking, just sitting down, and again, and you can write it on paper. I like to write on paper and decide, what do I want with this person? Okay, this is what I want. So if you know that you want to bring that energy in, right, then you have to let go of the past. And I feel like the Page of Pentacles is here. That's gonna ground you more, and it's gonna because this is a card of manifestation, right? To me, the Page of Pentacles is somebody that's very goal oriented, so it's gonna feel more clear to you, because there is gonna be a breakthrough, but you have to make some sound decisions. Get clear. That's like one of the things I teach everyone that I coach. Like, get clear. Like, I ask them to, like, even when it is with an SP, I ask them, like, why do you want this? Because sometimes, you know, I've seen plenty of things. Like, I've been in the community for so long that I've seen plenty of things where people was like, yeah, I thought I wanted that, and then eventually I was like, I got it and I didn't even want it. So I mean, that happens. People change. So just get clear with yourself, because there seems to definitely be a back and forth. It could be about the third parties. Like, I don't know if you do have, remember, patterns. Like I said, it's not people, it's life showing us something, right? People are only reflecting who you are inside and what your core beliefs are. So it's not necessarily a story that you were saying about him, but there's a story that you're holding on to from your old self, right? If you've dealt with third parties before, then maybe you have to, you know, get clear on that. Like, what are the patterns when it comes to like, not just men, but people in general? Because I think that a lot of times when it comes to like SPs, people think about like their romantic relationships, but I would say just people in general. I feel like you'll find something in your core that's been lingering, that may not even be anything serious, but that carried on. And what happens is, like, a negative thought, right? You have a negative thought, then you have another one, then you start to create a little bit more of a story there, then another, you start adding more to that story, and then before you know it, you've created a belief around it, which becomes an assumption, and then becomes a belief. So there's something that you're being shown that you have to maybe dig a little deeper, address it, so you could just get rid of it. There's a core belief here. I just recently started doing core beliefs, and I could tell you, like, I feel free, because those are things we want to ignore because they feel a little tough. But I feel like once you get clear on those things, like this right here, like, to me, it just feels like there's some holding back and then some action, and some holding back, some action. So you're 1 foot in, 1 foot out. That's what I would say. And like trying to control things. So remember, we can't. I feel like I used, what was the analogy? Where's the lotion? I don't even have it. All right, like my toothpaste, right? My toothpaste, I know that I just grab it and I just squeeze like that, and that's it, right? I don't have to grasp it hard. If I grasp it hard too much, it's gonna come out. So let go. Like, let go of maybe the how, the when. Again, I think that sometimes the manifestation, we don't realize like the stories we're telling. I just like was saying how I just started like having little stories that come up that I didn't even know were playing in the background, that I was like, oh my God, how can I even, like, I could give you an example. How can I say, I don't, like, closeness with people scares me. I don't want closeness with anyone, but I'm trying to bring in like a connection with someone. You know, those little stories contradict your, it may not be directed to that person, but it's still a story that you're telling in general, because remember, everything is you, it's not the people necessarily. The only reason why we affirm for certain desires is because we may have a little resistance around them, or because we want to be specific about what's coming in. But let me pull these oracles, But yeah, just realized like the stories that I was telling. Like I was saying, if I don't, if I don't go a certain amount of days without, doing this, that's why it's not coming in. And I'm like, that's still a story I'm telling. It may not be about that person, but I'm still telling a story about the whole thing. So there could be like stories in there too that you're not really realizing that are not necessarily connected to him directly, but are connected to you. Let's see, what is the vibe here with Shay and the cat? What's going on? All right, we got toxic intimacy. So we have toxic. It says drama, arguments, incompatible. We have intimacy, mutual respect, unity, closeness. So do you see how this is literally completely opposite? Like it's like you can't even make this up. It's completely opposite. It's talking about being incompatible, but then closeness, right? Basically, being compatible. And then you have tension, stressed out, migraines, worry. So I definitely feel like you may not be noticing. I want to say it has to be like stories. Like there has to be some little stories back there that, and it may not necessarily be. I would just say, this is what I'm gonna tell you. Grab a pen and paper. Write why you want it. What do you want out of it? And be clear with yourself. Tell yourself, am I doing this out of ego? Once you can admit to yourself, then I feel like it's even easier. Even if you do want it from ego, it doesn't fucking matter. You can still manifest it, right? And then I was saying, oh my God, what was the other thing? Ask yourself, what stories am I telling around connections about myself? And maybe even ask for clarity. Like I always say, like I still pray to God. So I always ask God, give me clarity on this situation. It'll come, because I feel like once you know, like I promise you, it's gonna feel easier. Because I feel like it may be like, it may not be feel like physical tension, but maybe in, like I said, the subconscious mind. Because remember, we don't see what's in the subconscious mind all the time. So there could be a bit of, I wouldn't necessarily say stressed out or worry, but when we're kind of like, and we all do this, Shay, we all do this. We all do like this thing where it's like the when and the how, when we know we're not supposed to, right? So we just got to check ourselves. So I would say like that, like just check yourself. See what it is that there's something that you're holding on to or saying that's causing that. Because I feel like once you do that, you have glow up here. Just let me see. We have waves, emotions, worry, fear. Yeah, that's the, like I said, the 1 foot in 1 foot out, but more so the waves of like maybe this minute you're like affirming, the next minute you're like, you know what, F him, like fuck this, because you can't argue. Remember that art, you can't be affirming and then you fighting with him in your head, like no. So just like those little things that I think like a lot of people don't even realize is affecting them, like don't do it. Or not, I mean, if it happens, then you just make sure that you're conscious enough that you can check yourself, right? That you can just be like, no, I'm not gonna do that, right? That's really where the back and forth doesn't come with like your emotions. The emotions don't manifest anyway. It's your thought process. So if you're affirming in this moment, and then once you're done or later on you just spent 3-4 hours arguing with him in your mind, then you just kind of canceled everything out. You don't have to start over. You just got to keep going. And that's another thing too that I was saying, like you don't have to start over. You just got to keep going. And you just got to keep going. And the more you just check yourself, right? Again, we have to check ourselves. The more you check yourself on the spot, you can change the energy. because now you're honestly like telling yourself like I got this, right? So yeah, so make sure that you give those stories. Like I said, I tell everybody this: you don't have to affirm like create these all these affirmations for like those little stories. You can just tell yourself that's the past. I know that's no longer me. Or you can say that never happened. Like I always say, I'll just address it. I'll be like, all right, that's my old self. Thank you, girl. I love you, but you know, we on to new things. So I can't be entertaining you. And yesterday I was saying how I went through like a whole rampage, and I even had to tell her like, you gotta get the fuck out. Like I've been nice to you, so I'm not gonna sit here and um I've been nice to you, so I'm not gonna stay here and be nice anymore. Like I've been nice to you for like the past like 3 weeks, and like you're persistent on some bullshit. Hi big, yeah, donations are open. I mean, as long as donations are open, guys, you guys could donate. So it's like just checking yourself. It's all you. Remember that it's all you, and the more you remember that you're the creator, you take your power back. Because if you're giving him power for how you feel, then you're technically saying that he's creating something in your reality when that's not how it works. You have established, settled, secure. Yeah. So you see how I said it's like a back and forth, like you're getting the same energy here. We have consequences, bad choices, gains, mixed signals. Again, the mixed signals is what you're telling your subconscious mind, right? Our subconscious mind is always like when we're doing like we're always gonna get what we want, but the more clear you are and the more steady you stay in that story, the more clear it is, right? Because if 1 minute you're again affirming this, and then the next minute you're like, fuck you, I hate him, and like he's, you know, like whatever, like then now your subconscious mind is like, okay, I'm gonna put this over here until she figures that out. Let me keep working on this over here. But if the story, the more dominant thoughts, remember what we manifest is our dominant thoughts. If you're more your dominant thoughts are more, the negative is more dominant, then that's what you're experiencing. I always use the oil water analogy that I learned from Flossie, right? You have a cup of oil, and water, believe it or not, is more dense than water. Water is more dense than oil. So you, let's just say you have a whole cup of oil. This is the whole cup, right? The more you feed it good stuff, like the water, which is the good affirmation. The oil is the bad stories, the resentments, the everything, right? But the more you start affirming the good stuff, it starts to rise up, and eventually the bad stuff comes out. From what she said and from what I know that I felt like I've gotten manifestations before I even was full on positive about the thing, right? So I feel like it's always like a, I want to say like a 70-30. Once the water, there's 70% of water in there, which is like, that's a real big balance. That's when you start to see things. And again, that's just my little, you know, whatever. But yeah, like you have to, the mixed signals is what you're getting. And I feel like that's what you're because you don't want to be the chaser. Like you don't want to reach out to him, you want him to come towards you. And I feel like your dream was more showing you where your subconscious mind is at, like what's being impressed there. I do have longing, missing you, let's talk, reunion. So I feel like once you stop giving mixed signals, you do get this reunion. Even if it's to talk. We have family here, blood ties, inner circle, puzzled, look, we got feminine energy, and we have recharge. So I was saying the recharge is what I've been telling you. Feminine energy of recharge to me is again going within yourself. I was just saying, like, we should not be thinking about our desires 24/7. That's just me, and that's what I could tell you from my experience. When I've like manifested big shit, I was not thinking about them 24/7. I would do my routine and go about my day. Like if they came to my mind, of course, but I really tried. I don't want to be thinking about my desires every day, like all day. That's a way, that's a form of detachment, right? When you do your practice and then you could just live your life and then come back and, do your affirmations. So, if throughout the day, like something comes up, a negative story, you check your mental diet, right? That's when you really are in true power. For me, not saying that people are not, if they're thinking about their desire 24/7, but I do feel like that's where the burnout comes in, because that's happened to me, where I felt, and I would literally can tell you, like, now I'm like so at ease with everything that I don't feel that burnout. Like, I feel more like vibrant myself. So I want to, like, I will say definitely, to me, the family card is more so like you, like going back to you. Once you get past like the confusion in your head, that you know what it is, like the stories, the back and forth, um, like nurture yourself, like do something, like do things for yourself in between. Like, don't hyper focus on it 24/7, because it doesn't matter. Like, it doesn't matter. You could hyper focus on it 20, like there's people that, people, we know that there's things that we can manifest just by saying it once. So we know that we don't have to sit here all day long. I think that when you're wanting something so bad, like you're trying to create something, but what you do sometimes is you do create that energy if I don't have it. Like, so, like, I tell everyone too, like, I have my affirmations for all of whatever, I don't tell people what I'm manifesting, because it's nobody's business. But the only people that know are the people in my group. But um and mostly just because she's my manifesting buddy. But I don't tell people stuff, don't, not because it won't happen, I just don't care to. But um I have my affirmations for this, my affirmations for that, but then in between the day, like, if I think of it, I have, like, I'll either, I say little things like having blanket affirmations, like everything's working out for me, or like I'll do, like, have different little like inner conversations about it. I won't use the same thing, because again, I feel like for me personally, it causes the burnout. So that's what I would say. Like, and with recharge, again, I think that you need to just recharge yourself. Maybe take a day off from affirming. There's nothing wrong with that. Like, just knows I'll do that sometimes. Like, if I'm feeling a little, or I'm feeling like, you know what, it's too much, I just don't want to deal with it, I will take a day off, because as long as I keep my thoughts in check, I don't feel like nothing is going to hold me, like, how do I say, like, nothing is gonna hold me, like, in a jail cell, because I'm like afraid that I'm not. No, the more you know that you're gonna get this and you're assertive of it, you're fine. You could take a day off to recharge. Most people do. Like, on like the weekend, I'll choose one of the days to just really take care of me, or it could be a Monday. So yeah, that's what I would say. Just recharge, maybe take like a day or whatever, and then come back to it. Like, just again, get clear, and just, those old stories that are coming. I think your thing is that the arguing in your mind. I'll be crashing out, because I just be like, I don't know. Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, once you take control of that, remember that like this, the law of assumption, we learned that is the is discipline, persistence, and what's the other one? You gotta have audacity, and what's the? I feel like I'm missing something, but definitely discipline. Discipline is the one thing that I like we've missed in life, right? In general, a lot of people are not disciplined. That's why, some people can spend money that they don't even have, because they're not disciplined in their spending. So I would definitely say that um um sorry, something distracted me. I would just definitely say, like, be disciplined with yourself. Like, you're the only, like I said, you could watch a million videos, you could go to a million coaches. If you're not putting the effort, then, your mental diet is everything. That's, if there's a key to manifestation, it's going to be mental diet for me. All right, I'll be right back. Bake, you can post your question. I'll be back in like 5 Okay, I'm back. Alright, what's coming towards me? The Nine of Cups, the Wheel of Fortune, the Knight of Wands in the reverse, the Six of Wands, Eight of Pentacles, the Lovers, the Fool. And the Temperance, the Moon, the Two of Cups, the World card. Are you and your person speaking? I'm getting delays there. I'm also seeing delays possibly in your finances. Show me the Four Wands in the reverse. Yeah, like to me this feels like something lacking faith when it comes to your wishes coming true, because the Nine of Cups for me is like about contentment, like wishes coming true, material success, blessings. Like there's a delay there, there's a delay of, but it's coming in with a lack of faith, imbalance, and there's could also be problems within family is what I'm getting. And then you have the Eight of Pentacles with the Four of Swords. It feels like there's a delay when it comes to finances, like hard work, even like skills, like learning skills, accomplishments. Like there's a bit of stagnant energy. You do have the Lovers here, but it feels like to me you may have to take a leap of faith when it comes. You have to make a choice. I'm not getting love here with this card. I'm getting making a choice when it comes to your finances, possibly taking a leap of faith. Like if you're waiting for something to come in, it's like they're saying like you have to make it happen, or it's gonna just keep, you're gonna keep waiting. So there's something you have to do to make something happen here when it comes to your finances. Clarify this Fool, the King of Cups in the reverse. Yeah, I'm getting like, so the King of Cups in the reverse is like a very unproductive energy, a withdrawn energy, someone with emotional turbulence. So there's like I said, if you're sitting, like if you're waiting for something to come in, they're saying you have to stop waiting and actually create something here, because you're creating more waiting, more stuck energy. Now I just want to see, is this with his person too? The Seven of Swords, yeah, with her too. So I feel like, because the Seven of Swords for me is coming in as like this energy of like looking over your shoulders, and either you don't trust or she doesn't trust. Somebody here is not trusting this connection, whether it's like, I feel like it's more you, because the King of Cups in the reverse is an untrustworthy type of energy, right? And I feel like you could be, like, I feel like you could be in this energy where you're not seeing things happen, so you're starting to possibly feel like it may not happen. So that could be something that's like that you haven't noticed, but yeah, there's like a creating of, there's like waiting being created here. There's stagnant energy. Um you had the Temperance, the Moon, the Two of Cups, and the World. I Let me just clarify this World card. The Star. I feel like Spirit is saying two. Yeah, like there's a need to create something, because for me the Temperance, although it's about patience, for me what I'm getting is like this is the Alchemist, right? Like they're mixing two energies, and it's, if you're just, I feel like whatever energy you're putting, you're not trusting that it's happening. So you're creating waiting. So either you're creating waiting with your energy where you're like it's gonna happen at some point, or you're thinking, is this gonna happen? The Moon is here, so there's something hidden that you're not really addressing. You're not bringing to the surface, that I feel like once you do, you'll feel more at ease. I do have the Two of Cups, so I do feel like she's still connected to you. That there's still hope here for things to happen, because I do have the Star. So it's a card of hope. Hopefulness is a card of like trust. So like either you need to trust that it's happening now, or there's, I just feel like there's an energy of creating wait. So I feel like you're creating a waiting energy when it comes to your finances and your connection with your person. So coming towards you, I feel like you have to start making things happen, um and instead of waiting. So that is what I have for you, and thank you. Jess, what are you doing? You're welcome. Oh my god. Oh, write a message for your shop, you got new ones? Nice, Jess. You know, the other night I was like, damn, I haven't created a new deck in a little while. Then I was like, I don't want to. I was like, I don't want to. All right, I gotta go back to this. Oh my god. It's only one. It's so early. into this thing. Um, why isn't it letting me log in? Alright, let's try again. Hello, how are you? No free questions, guys. Just FYI, no free questions. Alright, so now I go to here. I have to Alright, let's try this again. I'm over here messing with this app. All right, I think I'm gonna just come back later. I'm gonna go get some stuff done. I have I want to do my video for the roots my routine. Um and so I will be back later today. Bye. Oh wait, let's see this top fans thing. Yo, who the hell is that person? I want, you know what? Let me go on through my iPad because what the fuck? Only you would catch that, Jessica. I was not even, yo, like, what in the world? I'm missing. I feel like they have, but they didn't comment on here. That's my thing. Oh, unless they're blocked. I want to, but no, you would have saw them. Hmm. You know what? I'm gonna actually check. I'm gonna actually check it because it's gonna bother me. I mean, it's not gonna bother me. I don't really care, but I just want to see. Could be. Wait, let me go to my community. No, I don't have them on here. That's weird. Mm, no. Yeah. Well, all right. Well, I will talk to you later, Jess. Bye.